Hello, everybody, and welcome back. And how long? Not how long, but yeah, how much longer is this going to keep going? People do not realize that there is a lot of abuse and legitimate discrimination. And I'm sorry if I'm raising my voice here, but it just angers me to no end that that so many people and so many teachers get away with this. People are starting to say, hey, we need better education. We need better this and better programs. First of all, we don't need. I don't care. Yeah, technically we do, but we need more. We need better professors. We need better people who are more qualified, and not qualified in terms of just a piece of paper saying, oh, well, they've got this amount of experience, and they've got. No, I want to see how you're gonna. How certain people, especially when it comes to teachers and people, kids with special needs. I was one of those. I grew up as one of those kids, and a lot of the times that they didn't know how to help me, at all. Now, I didn't personally go through this through a teacher, but. This is. I'm gonna be. I'll put the link in the description. I don't know how to do the video versions of this to chop it up into sectors, and I'm just gonna give you the audio and here. This is this is disgusting.
You were appalled too. Her mum's recording of a teacher's cruel rant was shocking. What's happened in the months since that incident?
Portia, stop doing it! Portia, stop speaking!
No matter how many times you hear it, it's hard to listen to.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Portia!
What you can't see are the two 5-year-old girls who are copying the abuse. They both have disabilities and are non-verbal.
Why are you eating my puzzle pig?
You see that? People don't. The thing is that I can understand people saying, "Oh, words are violence," which I'm not on that part. I'm not gonna censor people. However, there is freaking verbal abuse, especially when it comes to a professor, pardon my language, just outright not giving a I'll say the word, not giving a fuck what the kids are doing. I had to go through that. They just got a slap on the wrist. And they constantly abused me when I was a kid. They constantly harassed me, not all the time, but just like on a decently frequent basis. And they were all like, hey, you promise not to do this again? Yes, you promise not to do this. Yes, I promise. And then they go back into doing it. Like, does anybody if you've ever watched South Park and you've seen Eric Cartman, how he loves to manipulate and go to the kids with disabilities to basically be his henchman, and sometimes even Cartman teases and bullies those same kids that he relies on or not relies on but goes to. That is people don't understand that. I mean, I understand a lot of people say this word a lot. That they're bullying me. The thing is that and I'm tired of this being like a huge thing, and I don't like this. I'm more important sort of thing. But this needs to be brought into light. A lot of this politicized thing is really distracting us from kids who are disabled. They're saying, oh well, because I'm this color or because I'm this gender, I'm being discriminated against and I'm being mistreated. Y'all, I'm not gonna say all of you, but some of you, because I can't speak for all, don't even know half of the crap that a disabled child such as myself goes through. You want to talk about systematic oppression? Huh? Maybe 50, 60 years ago, that was y'all. Systematic oppression has been, for disabled people, still goes on to this day. They don't know, or they don't even care to know, how to help disabled kids. But let's continue.
Portia Concepcion has Down syndrome, autism, and a heart condition.
That is, and do you know what? That's something that I wouldn't say that I have, but I have multiple disabilities. And just the other day, just yesterday, I was on the phone and I told I was on the phone with an administrator for a massage school. And they say, well, you sound pretty coherent. You sound like there's nothing wrong with you. And I said, yeah, I have learning disabilities, though, so I'm not. I have some cognitive things going on. Well, we're not sure how to help you with that. It's like, same old crap that I've heard in California in my high school.
Riley Dunster has cerebral palsy, autism, and is developmentally delayed. They're inside their Year 1 classroom at a special needs unit of Riverston Public School in Western Sydney, a supposed safe learning environment.
So even Sydney, Australia might. So even the most now wokiest of the woke, the most trans whatever inclusive, these most accepting people are abusing disabled children. Dad, and the professor is saying your parents are not here. Yeah, you want to know why the freaking disabled kids cry for their parents? Because a lot of people, including teachers, they abuse these kids. And I hate how a lot of people say, oh, well, we need to better educate we need the education system. We need better funding for this. Do you know what? If this is how a lot of people, public schools are going to treat disabled kids and even disabled students, even young adults or even adults, I'm sorry. I would say defund public schools. Because public schools for disabled kids and people with learning disabilities is a freaking prison.
The relentless mistreatment will forever haunt Jason and Janie Concepcion, who confirmed their grave suspicions with this recording.
That's our daughter, that's our child. No one does that to her and we don't just let that slide.
Riley's parents, just as disgusted.
Straight away, we would have had docs on our doorstep if we were treating our child like that. And they were treating her like that. And
very good point. Let me ask you this. Don't people actually realize that if these people, these teachers, if these teachers, whether if it's like abuse in schools or even child grooming, what they're doing right now with what they're doing right now in public in some private schools, let me ask you this: if the freaking parents, sorry for raging, let me calm it down. If the parents were doing this and not the teachers, you know damn good and well Child Protective Services are going to be there right there immediately. But since it's a government-funded facility and a quote-unquote service, child abuse and child grooming and that's okay. It's okay to abuse children in public schools. But parents can't do this, otherwise they're arrested. But we can't arrest or fine the freaking schools. The public system, y'all are back-ass words, y'all.
The parents' bravery to publicly expose the chilling abuse prompted the immediate removal of Bronwyn Massey, the main teacher, heard on the recording.
Bronwyn Dimity from a current affair. Do you have any explanation about the way you treated Portia? Do you accept that your behaviour was unacceptable?
Also sidelined to non-classroom duties, the teacher's aide.
Oh, I want to. You need to see this girl. This teacher. Look at this teacher. See that? Don't tell me that these crazy teachers, especially at one side of the spectrum, they don't have their own versions of Hicks, because they absolutely do.
The main teacher heard on the recording.
Bronwyn Dimity from a current affair. Do you have any explanation about the way you treated Portia? Do you accept that your behaviour was unacceptable?
Also sidelined to non-classroom duties, the teacher's aide, Claire Andrews.
They are still working under the department, using the taxpayers' money, and they're just not working directly with our children.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This other professor that I had. It wasn't exactly like this, but it was in college. I'll say this in a different video, but first of all, how many times are we just... Is the public school system going to defend these people? You know damn good and well that if again, as I said earlier, if a freaking mom or dad was treating their kid that way, Child Protective Services and the police would be there immediately, and they would be fined to the max. But because these people are teachers and they're abusing children, you're meaning to tell me that, oh, well, it's a long, complicated process, and it's a freaking hassle, and they're doing a public service, this, that, or the other. So it's a long process, and it's gonna be like we have to go through the bureaucracy of this. So no, not. It's like, do you know what? The teachers, in my opinion, especially these days, have more rights than a freaking parent. Pull that crap out, and even if the parent is a scumbag, yeah. I don't approve of that either. Put it into Child Protective Services. Try to find ways, because let me tell you this, and I keep saying this, it is especially for disabled children. Public schools are a huge prison system for them. And sometimes, for some, not all, home is not much different. Thankfully, more often than not, hopefully more often than not, that it is.
Within 24 hours, the New South Wales government made a pre-election promise. Rob Stokes vowing the teachers would never work in a classroom again.
I will do everything I can to ensure that they never work in a New South Wales public school ever again.
So do you...
How about not teaching again? Just pull their teaching license. People, whenever a policeman or someone who works at a private business or even a big corporation acts like this, like that, you know dang good and well they're saying turn in your badge. But for teachers, exempt.
Declare these two teachers sacked. These
As
families...
far as I'm concerned, Dimity, these teachers will never work in the teaching service in New South Wales ever again.
Good girl. Still in limbo. The devastated parents are calling for the new Education Minister, Sarah Mitchell, to honour her predecessor's word as they continue to wait for the Department of Education to decide what action it will take. So here we are, 6 months on. How are you feeling about the process?
How did you expect people to speak out in the future and stand up for these children when if they don't see that there's a light at the end of that tunnel? I know what.
For most kids, especially when you're that young, especially for, I wouldn't say, for me, my problem wasn't, to be honest, my problem wasn't very much the teachers. It was more so the students. But, I need to... I mean, just like so many people and so many students and so many teachers, this just gets slidden by. And you wonder why so many kids, especially disabled kids, have suicidal problems, or they grow up with, they end up having depression their entire lives. And they start having even worse symptoms. Like, it's not just symptoms of depression, but like anger issues. People want to say that all starts in the home. Well, when your public school becomes your home, because you're spending 6 to 8 hours in that place, because you're going to school from like 6, 7 o'clock to like 2, 3 o'clock. We've been
through for the last 5, 6 months it's been like a nightmare.
Police were also called...
I mean, people don't realize that more often than not, if you're a student, especially in a public school, you are more so at school than you are at home, because oh my God, this is why
in to examine the evidence, but have said no criminal offence could be detected, and have handed the matter back to the Department of Education.
No criminal offense. This girl has been physically and emotionally abused by an authoritative figure, and they say, oh well, this isn't this professor. There's no evidence of criminal offense. This reminds me of what's going on even with like certain health systems. There's no evidence that this causes this to happen. And I'll get that into another video. You'll know what I'm talking about. I'll be more specific. There's no evidence, there's no evidence, there's no evidence, there's no evidence. Gaslight, 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 gaslight. They're covering their freaking tracks. Okay? And I'm going to cover more articles like this, because this needs to be spread.
Does that sit with you?
We took immediate action based on the realization that something wasn't right.
People don't understand, and even with the, like, these, those are the 3 words of gaslighting. There's no evidence. or four words. There is no evidence. There is no evidence that to show or to prove that anything is like that. Meanwhile, it's all written and you can hear it, and then they twist it to well, it was in this context. It doesn't matter. The child was still abused. I don't care what freaking context it is.
We don't know what happened before that. Was there something that happened that would have justified criminal charges? We don't know.
It's disappointing. Really disappointing.
Both families feel they've been kept in the dark.
I called them to question, why we weren't contacted, what was going on. When he asked who I was, I said I'm Riley's mother. And then he asked who was Riley.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like that, but I've known people who went through that. Who's this disabled child? Who's this? Oh, I don't know. A lot of these teachers are just grown up. You're like overgrown children themselves. It's like the blind leading the blind, man. I hate it when that's allowed.
Did have, Riley's the other kid on the recording.
The parents also insist systemic changes need to be made to make sure no other child suffers at the hands of their trusted classroom teacher.
From here on forward, what's going to happen? Are you going to make sure that there's going to be monitoring in the school right now? What is it really that's going to protect our children? What assurance can you give all the parents out there that this thing will never happen again?
Thankfully, here at Portia's new school, her parents say she's happy and making good progress.
Do you friggin' understand why it kind of makes sense right now? I know this is a different context, but now you kind of see what... And I'm going to get a little political here. But do you understand what the purpose of the parental rights bill in Florida is about? It's to prevent stuff like this. You're sure in a different context, but in a different way. But the thing is that school of choice and also the parental rights bill, giving parents the knowledge of what goes on in the school system. This is exactly what it's talking about. It's not the stupid "don't say gay" bill. It's that I need to know what the heck is going on with my children. Whether if it's like grooming or whether if it's hidden child abuse. If I'm a parent, and hopefully I am one day, I know you know dang good and well that I'm gonna make sure that I'm keeping an eye on my child's safety and knowledge. I'm not gonna have them deal with this if they have autism or something like that. I'm not dealing with that. People need to know what is going on behind closed doors. This is another reason why parents need to know what's going on in their child's classroom.
But given the abuse she faced and now Jason and Jamie's ongoing battle for justice, they say it will be a long time before they will be able to fully trust their daughter is safe when they send her to school.
On principle, I don't want her to grow up in a world where people can do that and get away with it. Something has to happen. That's the best I can do as a parent, right? Maybe something happens, maybe something doesn't happen. But it will not be as a result of my wife and I not trying.
Both the New South Wales Education Department and the Minister declined our requests for an interview, while the...
Of course they did. When someone tries to decline an interview like that, you know dang good and well that they're guilty of it.
Investigation is ongoing. They've assured us there will be an outcome and we'll be holding them to that. Those statements are on our website.
These sorts of people, whether they're in the government or whether in the classroom, and when I mean the government, I mean like because I mean I guess if you're working in the public school services, you are technically working for the government, or at least you're government funded. I mean, that's disgusting. These people should not be protected. If you're not protecting the child, why should we protect your job? And prolonging this whole process of saying, God, this is what goes on. I didn't have it this bad, but again, I've heard horror stories like this with people who suffer through disabilities just as bad, if not worse, than mine. We're the voices for those. And I don't it's one thing to be bullied and be called a derogatory term for someone who's disabled. That's one thing. But when you rely on the system to assist you, and the system abuses you because they know that you're practically helpless, I mean, that's disgusting. Yeah, this has got to stop. Please like, share, comment, share, and subscribe, because this needs to come to an end. All right, thank you so very much. I'll see you next time.